Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
All right, and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions in the worlds of sports, social media, pop culture. The NHL Draft is right around the corner, so we've been doing a lot of panels involving players that hope to get their name called. And before I introduce who we have, I just want to say a quick thank you to one of our partners, Grit Inc., who make hockey bags. They recently launched a new bag, HDFX Hockey Tower. So you could check all of that out on their Facebook and their website. All the links will be below. They have a contest as well going on now where you could be entered to win a HDFX Hockey Tower. So please get on that. I'm going to ask my guests at this time from left to right to quickly introduce themselves, who they are, where they played this year, and where they're playing next year. Let's start with Casey.
I'm Casey Mittelstadt. I played at Green Bay in the USHL and for the most part high school in Minnesota for Reedy and Prairie, and next year I'll be playing at the University of Minnesota.
Awesome.
I'm Scott Reedy. I played for the U.S. Development Team program on Plymouth, Michigan, and next year I'll be playing for the University of Minnesota.
Josh?
I'm Josh Norris. I played for the U.S. Development program, and I'm playing for the University of Michigan next year.
Awesome.
Nate Knoepke, played for the National Team Development program last year and playing for the University of Minnesota this year.
Brannon McManus. I played for Chicago Steel in the USHL and played for University of Minnesota next season.
For the record, I don't know why we skipped over Brandon, considering Nate is on the right. But
yeah, I'm on the left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Let's start quickly. Just like an icebreaker question. I mean, you guys faced a lot of challenges this year. In your hockey career moving forward, what was kind of the biggest challenge you guys faced, and how do you think you kind of overcame it this year? Looking closely, looking further ahead for your NHL draft year, Scott. Let's start with you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for a lot of us was starting to play against college teams. Obviously, those guys are a lot older, a lot stronger, but I think it was good for us to get a look at what we're going to be playing against next year, and that was helpful and gives us kind of a step ahead of a lot of people heading into college this year.
Yeah, Casey, what about you?
For me, I think just switching back and forth between high school and USHL. I mean, obviously it's not too hard of a transition. I don't think it was that hard for me, but just kind of the new senior every time and getting back in together.
Josh, how about you this year specifically?
Yeah, no, I agree with Scotty. I felt like our first half of the season was pretty slow, and we had a pretty tough schedule, played some good college teams, but I thought just to get over that hump was pretty big for us, and we had a really good second half.
Absolutely. Brandon, congratulations on the big win with Chicago.
Yeah, thank you. I just think my trade in the middle of the year, I was in Omaha at the start of the year, and then obviously made the move to Chicago. I think it was good overall, and obviously a lot of adversity just with the whole, adjusting to the new team and all that, but it was good to learn from it.
And Nate, last but not least, of course.
Yeah, I'd probably say college too. I mean, going in, you're 18, 17 years old, playing against possibly like 24 or 25-year-olds. It's a big difference going from the USHL.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I bet it's been an exciting couple of weeks for you guys. A lot of you, I know, were in Buffalo for the Combine, and it's been pretty tough. I know you've been. I know Casey was on the quiz. I'm sorry, this isn't the quiz, Casey, but I won't be as tough as James Duffy with some of those questions because he's a friend of mine. He's been on this show as well. But how has that been, by the way? Trying to this is kind of like your first taste, going to the Combine, or when you're at the U18s, kind of getting a practice of what's to come when you guys play pro, doing a lot of interviews. Do you find that you're getting comfortable doing interviews and a lot of media and press? Like, what do you think about that, Casey? And we can go around.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's not too tough for me. I'm not really one to stress out too much about going to the interviews. Try to be yourself and be honest, and from there, I think you usually do pretty well. So, to be honest, for me, it hasn't been that bad. I think just travel and all that, and kind of getting settled in here at the U has probably been the toughest part of it. I don't think it's been bad at all.
Mm-hmm. Scott, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with Casey. You just gotta try to go in and be yourself, and kind of see where it goes. Obviously, you gotta tell them about your season and stuff, but it's just one of those situations where you kind of got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Go in with the right mindset, and everything's pretty straightforward. So I've had a good experience with it, and I haven't had too much trouble. So
yeah. And Josh, could you comment on that a little bit? And also a combination of that, but also balancing everything, because there's school, there's some classes, you're prepping for NCAA, kind of the hockey side of things, and then kind of off the ice as well must be difficult to balance.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the interview part, I don't think it's something that's too tough. I think maybe at the start you're a little bit nervous and uncomfortable, but I feel like as you did more of them, and sort of as the season went on, you got pretty comfortable with that, and it wasn't really a huge deal.
Mm-hmm. Brannon?
Yeah, you just got to be comfortable with it and trust with what you can do, and hopefully it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. And Nate, did you find it, especially, I'm sure a lot of you, once you announce your commitment, social media is so powerful these days. I'm sure that was kind of overwhelming. I'm sure there were some media requests. Like, how did you feel that week that you announced your commitment, Nate?
Well, when I committed, I was obviously I was pumped about it and stuff, but I really didn't get too much just on Twitter, like some DMs, but all in all, I really didn't get too much media coming at me or anything.
All right, no, really cool. A question that I asked, we'll start on this side now. We'll start with Brandon and Nate, but I every time I have like hockey panels, I always ask about kind of. There's a lot in the life of hockey players, but I also find there's a lot of misconceptions. Like a lot of people think, for example, that outside of just playing, that's all you guys do. You don't do anything else. You're just kind of robots. You train and you work out. There's a lot of that going on. So I want to know whether it's something like your routine. What are some of the from your perspective, some of the misconceptions about being a hockey player? Do people, think that it's, that maybe they don't know about your life off the ice? Like, do you think kind of they just kind of assume that maybe some people don't even realize that you have to go to school, before practice or a big game? Like, what are some of the misconceptions? We've had some wacky, responses to this question. Like, a couple of people said the misconception is that we care too much about our hair because we actually don't care as much. So I don't know. Like, what do you have anything that maybe people don't realize or know about hockey players that you want to clear up?
I mean, for example, I was in Omaha, and it was we were on the Lancers, and it was kind of a big deal for everyone. I went to high school in Omaha, and they kind of just thought we were a big deal and all that. We were just a normal high school, a normal high school student, and I mean there's not really. We're just normal kids. I mean, we work out and skate every day and train for the next level and all that. But honestly, we're just normal kids, and we're not really anything special. So.
Oh. Anyone wanna comment on that or anything else?
I mean, just we just got into the University of Minnesota here, and we were talking to some football players, and I thought it was pretty funny that all of them think all we do is fight. So I thought that was pretty funny because I mean it's part of the game obviously, but that's not something everybody does. So that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people might think robots, but we have class just like everybody else, and we gotta work hard in the classroom and other aspects of our a lot more to it than just hockey.
And Casey, the thing is, you see it a lot, and I'm from Ottawa, and for example, you look at a player like Ryan Dzingel, right, who went the NCAA route, and played pretty well for the Ottawa Senators this year. And depending, maybe because it's maybe like a smaller program or people don't know, it just seems like because you guys are so focused with school that maybe people don't maybe haven't heard of you guys as much because you're in the NCAA route, you haven't signed a pro contract yet, you're focused on school. But with social media, Casey, do you think that that's kind of elevated and give you guys a little bit of more exposure where kind of you can be noticed and people will kind of know where you come from? Because there's a lot of players that show up, like Drake Kajula, Edmonton Oilers, played in the NCAA. People didn't know who he was. But he, people were like, oh, he came out of nowhere. Well, no, he was a pretty big player in the NCAA circuit, right? So what do you think about that, Casey?
I mean, I think being from Minnesota, I think also kind of know who you are just because, I mean, it's pretty similar to Canada, I think. But for the most part, around everywhere, I think probably social media helps with it a little bit. I think just kind of getting your name out there a little bit if you have like art or that. But to be honest, I think just kind of involved with the hockey world and you kind of know who guys are, and if you aren't, you don't. I really don't know if so does that much. I think obviously it can help promote you a little bit, but I don't think it's over the top or anything.
Mm-hmm. Josh, Scott, anyone want to comment on that? What do you think about that? Because Josh, it's no secret you did pretty well at the combine in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of social media about that, and a lot of people might say, oh, like for example, people that like are in Canada that follow, the CHL don't know about the NCAA, but then they see your name and then they can kind of, check out a scud report, find out who you are type thing, right? So it social media is a game changer in terms of getting you guys the exposure.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps out with, if you don't really know someone, then, social media might help get your name out there a little bit, but I don't really think that's something that myself or other guys worry about too much. I think it just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point. And Nate, I'll ask you as well, because there is a lot of people now are talking about the NHL draft and the combine and everything, and just from the fitness perspective of things. And I'll ask the other panel as well, but what are some of the things that you were kind of working on this year ahead of your draft year? A lot of people say, they're getting bigger, faster, stronger, but was there anything specific that, you wanted to tweak or adjust this year and that you worked specifically on?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really tried to work on was just getting quicker in corners. Mm-hmm. And another thing I just try to be more physical and harder to play against and more aggressive and win more puck battles. That was one of my main goals.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, what about you?
I think just being more of a 200-foot player, more consistent each night. Not just each night, just like every shift too. Just more consistent each shift, and that's about it.
Josh?
No, obviously, like you said, just getting bigger and stronger. I felt like my skating is one of my best assets, so just becoming more explosive and more quicker, I thought would make myself a better player.
Mm-hmm. Scott?
Yeah, I'd say just rounding out my game. I think watching NHL games, you notice how fast everyone is. So just getting weight room and also on the ice, just quicker with the first 3 steps and really building up the legs to be stronger. I think that's a very valuable aspect of the game that you always need to work on, even if you're already fast. So I think that's one of the things I focused on this year.
Casey, that same stuff too, faster, that type of stuff?
Yeah, just faster and stronger. I think one of the main things I tried to focus on during the year was just making sure to get everyone involved, especially playing in high school. So just try to keep everyone involved. And, but pretty much besides that, pretty stereotypical, bigger, faster.
Okay, cool. What were, I'm sure this happened for a lot of you in different stages, but we'll start with Casey. When was the first time you decided you wanted to be a hockey player, and what kind of drove that aspiration? Was it, watching a specific player? Was it going to a game? Casey, what was it for you that drove you to wanting to be a player in the National Hockey League?
To be honest, I don't really have one thing or one specific time. I think for as long as I'm a hockey player, I don't think my life has any other way, I guess. I think going back, a lot that helps is just kind of, I mean, I've probably said this 100 times, but being able to watch high school teams and things like that, it's right in your backyard and it's easy to get in and out. I think that helps a lot, and being able to go for games as a kid, things like that. Obviously, wild game. So, I don't think it's like one specific. I think it's just kind of overall kind of gets you and it makes it a dream.
Scott, what about you? What was kind of that moment where you were like, yeah, I want to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was fortunate to grow up in Minnesota. Hockey kind of a culture here, so I was fortunate to get into it at a young age, and I really one memory that sticks out to me was going to my older brother's games. He was a big influence on me, and I'd sit by myself and just take in the game, try to learn from it, and that's when I kind of knew I had a special dedication for the game, and like Casey said, just watching older teams play all the way up to the NHL kind of increases your drive for the game, and it allows you to just understand what it's all about. You kind of just fall in love with it. I think that's something that pretty much every hockey player that makes it all the way has in common, just a love for the game.
Really cool. Josh, what about you? And Josh, I wanted to ask, I'm sure, but were there ever sports that you played like pretty seriously growing up besides hockey?
I mean, I played baseball until I was over 13, but I think pretty much every kid that was born in the U.S. plays baseball, so that's not really something that's stands out too much. But I grew up in Germany the first 10 years of my life. My dad played over there, so he had a pretty big influence on me. I was always around him and guys in the locker room, so that's probably what drove me to play at the next level. Very
cool. Brannon, you're up.
Well, I'm from California, obviously, so there's not much going on over there. So I think when I made the transition to Norris, I realized the competitive level it really was, and I think that's what really drove me to think I might have a shot at this. So I think that's when it really happened for me.
We're in California. Where you? Did you grow up?
Orange County. I live 15 minutes from where the Ducks play.
Okay. Their affiliate team, the San Diego Gulls, have been doing really well. They've been getting a lot of people at their games.
Yeah, that's like an hour and a half away, but
it's been good to see though, especially with teams like San Jose doing really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Nate, what about you? When did you first want to be a hockey player?
Just growing up, my cousin played hockey, so I would always go and end up watching his games, and he was in high school at the time, so high school hockey's big in Minnesota, and that was kind of the one thing that I really thought was pretty sweet about that. And then growing up, I was about 30 minutes away from the Gophers, the Wild, and most high school teams, you're kind of surrounded by hockey, so you get into it.
Did you guys meet the guys who were at the University of Minnesota? So everyone except for Josh, did you guys meet that polar bear yet?
No, I haven't met him yet.
I haven't met him now.
Have you met the mascot? Have you met the Gopher yet?
Yeah, I think I've seen him at a bunch of the games I've been to. But
do you know what I'm talking about though? Those videos with the polar bear on the ice wiping out.
Yeah, video. I just haven't got lucky enough to see him on campus yet. But we'll see.
Man, that's probably one of my favorite videos from last year. It's so good.
Yeah, it was good.
He's a legend. But we'll wrap up. But before we wrap up, just quickly, we'll start with Casey. I mean, let's just say I'm basically someone that wants to draft you and bring you on board for my NHL franchise. What kind of player is a team getting from you when your name's getting called, Casey, on June 23rd?
I like to think of myself kind of the two-way center with some offensive upside. I think probably my biggest strengths are my vision, creativity, and I guess I try that and make guys around me better and make plays. I think I can score and pass. So I would say that's very good.
Scott, what about you?
I like to think of myself as a skilled power forward. Like Casey said, I have a pretty solid vision, and I like to make plays, like to make teammates better. I love winning, so that's something I bring to the table, and I have a lot of potential, and I have great resources here at the U. Keep getting stronger and keep working hard. So I think I'm a guy that can keep improving and go.
Great, Josh. What about you?
Yeah, I think I can give you a little bit of everything. I'd like to think of myself as a good 200-foot player. Play on the power play, penalty kill. I think I consider myself a leader. I think I've been a leader on pretty much every team I've been on, and I've won in the past. So that's definitely something I would bring to the table.
Cool. Brandon?
Yeah, I would go along with just with Reedy and Josh both being a winner, and obviously with Shattuck and the Clark Cup winning, and just like more of a skill player, always trying the open ice, the scoring ability, and just playing with making my teammates better. But yeah.
And Nate, to wrap it up?
I'd say more of a defensive defenseman that can jump up into play at times, but definitely more stay-at-home PK guy, shot blocker.
Great, guys. Well, to all 5 of you that joined me, thank you guys so much, and I wish you all the best in the future at school and at the NHL Draft. Thank you all for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
No problem. Well, this has been Popternative. We'd like to thank our partners, Grit Inc. Like I said, all the contest information will be in the video descriptions. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Brandon. And thank you, Nate. You can catch previous episodes of Popternative on our YouTube page and our SoundCloud page as well. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Until next time, this is Petey Beats signing off for Popternative.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.